Hello there. This video is just a short introduction to my channel. My channel's name is Life's Little Adventures, and everything in life is an adventure. Hopefully they're more good than bad, but you'll get to see all sorts of different adventures that I'm going on. My first one is my new place where I'm living. I finally get to do things like have a garden, be able to freeze or preserve that garden so we can use it throughout the winter. Um, it's also going to be about just the little adventures that we go on. And I don't mean little trips, I just mean little things that happen throughout the day or happen in your life that make you stop and say, My channel will also have some baking and some cooking. I like to invent my own recipes, but I also like to work with other people's recipes. The Preppy Kitchen is one that I like to work with. I have tried his chocolate bundt cake and it is phenomenal. If you'd like to see my video of that, just let me know down below. But I also have some of my own um, recipes, and I'll be putting those on the channel as I make them. I also do some DIY and some crafting, some sewing. If you'd like to see my tips and tricks on that, just let me know. My biggest adventure along with the house is my garden that I've talked about a little bit. I'm actually going to be having 3 to 4 different gardens, one for vegetables, one for rooting vegetables, carrots and radishes and different things like that. And then a third one will be for herbs, and I'll have a whole different garden full of herbs. And then my fourth one is going to be medicinal. I tend to go holistic more than I do Western medicine, and some of those things I've found really do help me out. So if you want to know anything about that, just give me a holler. If you have ideas that I haven't thought of or areas that I am not, and I'm not an expert in any of these areas, and you have some tips for me, please let me know. My next adventure this summer is going to be building a chicken coop. Once I have the coop built, then I'll worry about chickens and getting chickens. I want to have somewhere between 10 and 20 chickens so that I can have eggs all the time. And then another area that is going to be a little bit different for me is my mother is going to be moving down with me. So we'll be a 2-generation household again after about 30 some years of not living in the same household. So I'm sure there's going to be some trials and tribulations with that, but also some fantastic different episodes that we're going to end up going through. If you have some tips on that, my mother is in her 80s, and we're going to get her moved down here hopefully sometime mid-May. So it's not too much longer now. So that's just a snapshot of my channel. Like I said, I hope that you'll take a look at some of my videos. If you like them, please subscribe. Send me some comments, send me some tips on different areas. One area that I will be doing a lot this fall will be canning different things from my apple tree, because I do have an apple tree out front and I'm very happy about that. Yeah, just send me some comments, share, like, and subscribe if you want to. Thank you so much. I'm going to put in a temporary fence here so the dog can't get out. And all the way around back over here, under what is now my carport, is going to be a patio area going all the way back to the fence. The backyard's going to be able to be shut off so that the dog can't get back there. But this is going to be my patio area. And then from here back, probably maybe a couple of feet more to the right, there's going to be another temporary fence. And you'll notice that there's the gas meter right there. But I'm going to have some above ground garden this whole spring, summer, and fall. You'll notice right there, it's an old chicken coop. My chicken coop is actually going to be back behind that. And I've got it kind of staked out, but that might not be the actual dimensions. The red back there is the old place where the chicken got in out of the rain, I guess. I'm hoping to reuse some of that. Also, there is a gate there, and the gate will go about where I am currently. But here's my front porch. I am going to restain the front porch this summer, front and back porches. Here is another angle. So about between the tree, and it is an apple tree, to about where the gas pipe is, most of the way back towards the house is going to be garden. On the other side of the tree, over by between the tree and the fence, is going to be where sunflowers are. And as I swing around on this other side of what is the chicken coop is going to be my herb and medicinal garden. And I have started on my kitchen. It's a very nice kitchen, a lot of cupboard space. I started painting the wall. You notice here's my little garden area. I'm doing some whole bunch of different sprouts, and a lot of them have sprouted already. But you notice I started painting, hoping to get this project done. I did get it all painted all the way around except above the window, and you'll see what it was above the window. And it looks pretty good, except when you get really close to it, and you'll notice that there is still bleeding coming through. I did 2 coats of Kilz, and then the second day I started on the paint, and the paint actually looked like it was bringing up the Kilz. But the other thing I noticed, you'll see right behind that spatula, is a grease spot down beside the stove. Is still a grease spot, and like I said, this is the second, there were 2 application of Kilz. So I've kind of rethought this a little bit, and I do want this to all be stark white. So what I'm going to do is find some white tile and tile all around, and then when it comes to the window, I will put up some, just a valance. I don't think I'm going to actually put up a shade in front of the window because I like the light. So this is the material that's going to be for the valance in the kitchen area, but also up above this window. And like I said, this is just the starter plants, so they won't be here very much longer, hopefully. So, and then I'm also going to do a valance up here on this bigger window. I don't know if that's an air conditioner or whatever they're called, but it's going to go away because I don't do them. And you will notice that I have a mint plant here, so that will be planted outside. Might stay in a container just so I can keep it to one area because mint does spread. And then also in this little pot, you can see one green little thing coming up. This is going to be some, ooh, there's a couple of them. This is going to be some basil. And some of my sprouts. I have had a KitchenAid for, at least 3 decades, and I thoroughly love it. This is the KitchenAid electric housewares that tells you about, how to use your KitchenAid, but it also has some recipes in it. One of which is a sourdough starter recipe, which is a little bit different, but that's the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to make a sourdough starter today. So hold on. Okay, so it calls for 3.5 cups. It says strong bread type flour. I only have all-purpose flour, so that's what I'm using. Then it calls for 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I know this is not a typical sourdough starter recipe, but it's the one that I'm going to use because I'm too impatient to wait for it to go. And this one is supposed to be ready in 2 or 3 days. So that's me. Once I get this sourdough started, I'm going to treat it the way Anya does at our Gabled, I think it's Homestead. I love the way she's thinking. So I need 1 packet of active dry yeast. And instead of that, I am going to use just dry yeast from the jar because that's what I use. 1, and I know those packets are 2 1/4. So I'm going to put in 2 1/4. Everybody says that you can't really mess up on sourdough starters, so I'm taking them at their word. And now I need 2 cups of warm water, so I'm going to get that out of my tap. I have very warm water out of my tap. Hopefully this works. I don't think I have chlorine in my water. I just moved here. And if you hear some noise in the background, that's my dehydrator. I'm dehydrating some strawberries. If you'd like to learn more about what I do, just let me know down in the comments. Thank you. So I've got 2.5 cups here. I'm going to mix this a little bit. I'm going to have to get away from the camera a little bit. I love this whisk. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to pour about half of my water in. Like I said, I'm new to this, so I'm going to mix it up. And I'm sure I'll have, if you have comments on, other things that I should do, but I sure like her way of doing the starter, not having to feed it, putting it in the refrigerator, because I'm not going to probably bake that much with a sourdough starter. I work 40 hours a week, so I will only be able to do things on the weekends. So if you like my video, please take a look at a couple of other ones, and if you want to subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. So I'm just going to kind of go by look. Still haven't put all of my water in. I got a little bit left, so I'm going to put a little bit more in. This looks very thick to me, but it's a different type of starter, so I might go get a little bit more. That's a lot of starter, but I guess I'll make some stuff and put it in. That is very thick. I'm going to put in a little bit more water. I think that's just a little bit too thick. Everybody says you can't really go wrong, so people have been doing sourdough for probably hundreds of years, so I think if they can do it, I can do it. And then from now on, I'm going to probably use I got this especially for sourdough because you're not supposed to use any metal with it, but I figured the very first time I would use that because it would be easier to mix it up. So, and I'm just going to mix it, and now it has to sit And in 24 hours, I'll take a look at it, see how it is. I like this mixer because it does have inches on it, so I know how much, where it's at now and where it should be in a day. And what I'll do is measure that. And it is at about, yeah, it's about 2 inches from the top of my bowl. So I'll see you back tomorrow. Just a tea towel. I'm going to put the tea towel over it, and we don't have much sun today, but I'm going to put it in the sun and see what it does after a day. See? This is an add-on. I was doing sourdough starter and decided I didn't want that towel on. I did find a little place to put it where it's in the sun, and right now this is about the sunniest spot in my kitchen. So yeah, we'll just cover it back up and see what it does tomorrow. And this is where I have planted a clematis. You notice I've got strawberries on top. Decided they might as well decompose there. And over here, I have planted some basil. Quite a bit, actually. Only see a couple little green spots, but that's okay. And these are some sprouts that I've got going. Tomato mainly, over here, then over here. Get that fly. Some cauliflower, another tomato plant, and then down here I've got some basil growing really well. I planted this basil about a week before I planted the other one that I just showed you. And that's some dill. And then down here I finally see a little green. And these are all peppers, so these are going to take some time. I just watered them this morning, so that's an update on that.